Okay. Actually, we're getting ready to do a market update. Market update time here in the Villages. Glenn Stein, Realty Executives in the Villages, broker owner, coach, or Tom Ferry, and going to be doing a market update for the Villages, Florida. That's what's happening right now. And, I talked to a lot of people around the country, and we're seeing mostly the same message. Right now, what's today's date? I think it's May 14th, 15th, whatever it is, May 15th. And mostly the message is that the market is improving. The market is improving. It's ramping up, like what we've been talking about for the last several weeks, where we tanked 5, 6 weeks ago. Like all of a sudden there were no showings. Nobody wanted to go out. Nobody wanted to go in and look at properties, hardly. Very little, probably about 10%, 20%, depending on what market you're in around the country. And certain markets are still in that lower level area with showings because of what's happening with the virus, what's happening with government shutdowns and that type of thing still there. New York City, Philadelphia, places of that nature, Los Angeles. But naturally here in the Villages in Florida, we feel that effect. We see that effect because we get a lot of people that are coming from all over the place. In fact, last couple of years, we've been seeing a lot more people come from California. Some of it is politics, and some of it is taxes, whatever the reason may be. We're seeing more and more people come from the West Coast into Florida. Normally, in the past 20 something years that I've sold real estate, most people are coming from the Northeast, some from Southern Florida, the Midwest, usually east of Mississippi, and parts of the South like Tennessee, North Carolina. We do get some people from Georgia and that type of thing. But just to give you a recap of what we've seen, starting with about 4 weeks ago, and this would be, I think this is probably the week of probably like April 20th, ending April 20th, that Friday, we saw 17 new properties. We saw 19 sold, 18 pending properties. The week after that, which would have been the week ending in around the 27th of April, pretty much bottom of the marketplace as far as number of showings as well. 21 new. We saw 17 price reductions, 21 sold, 22 pending. So a little bit of an increase in pending properties, not significantly. Some an additional new properties were on the market as well. So an increase there. Then we came to the first week of May, right? Which was, about 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, beginning of May, that first week of May, we saw 21 new properties, 24 price reductions. We saw 32 sold or closed properties and 25 pendings, meaning we saw the same amount of active properties come on the marketplace. We saw more price reductions. So we saw people that were maybe a little bit sensitive to the coronavirus and took advantage of the situation. Not necessarily a bad thing, but they got some price reductions. And we saw 32 sold properties, which is actually about a 48% increase over the week before. So a lot more properties actually closed. And we saw a little bit of an increase in pendings from 22 to 25. So now we get to this week ending May 15th, okay, second week of May. And we saw 41 new properties. So just to give you a little bit of perspective, as opposed to 3 weeks before, we saw 17. So we saw 2.5 times more new properties come on the market this last week. Many more new, actually double what we saw last week. Double. So a lot more properties are coming on the marketplace. So sellers are feeling more comfortable with the whole process of putting their home on the market. That's what it tells me. And of course, something we're doing is we've ordered additional booties and masks so we can be safe and our clients can be safe as well. We need to be operating still in that safe zone. I think that's really smart and intelligent and also very respectful of the people that we're serving. 19 price reductions, pretty much a little bit of a decrease from last week, and very much like the other weeks as well, where we saw price reductions, but the price reductions didn't go up. I think that's a key indicator where we're not seeing a lot of people reduce the price of their homes. So that's actually, I think, a good thing, a sign of a little bit of a healthy marketplace. And 22 sold properties. We saw a decrease in the amount of closed properties, which basically tells me, I think last week was a little bit of an anomaly where we went from 19 to 21 to 32 homes close, now back to 22. That tells me that we're still feeling the effects of the drop off in the amount of showings that took place in the month of April. That's a big, big point. I think we're still going to see in the next couple of weeks a low amount of closings. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw, 22, 23, 20 for the next several weeks, right? Because we look at the pending properties, the pending number, 18, 22, 25, that's an indicator on how many properties we're going to have closed. Makes sense, right? But the big number this week, probably the best news, okay? Numbers I deliver are just news. It's just, these are the stats and you can determine what they are. I think in my mind, really good news, a real sign of our health here in the Villages, Florida, 36 pendings, 36 new properties went under contract. That's double the amount of properties that went under contract 3 weeks ago. So we had 18 3 weeks ago, 22 2 weeks ago, last week 25, this week 36. That's a big deal. That means more showings, more activity, more properties going under contract, and we're seeing more properties come on the market. It's kind of a good cycle, right? A really good cycle. Just to give you an idea, it's been balanced, right? If we look at the new versus pending, pretty close. The numbers have been relatively close. This week, no exception, 41 to 36. So those are the market stats. The other thing, obviously, just saw that on Monday, the governor is officially making, we're going into like a new phase where we're going to be 50% open, where the gyms are opening and restaurants are going to be open 50% occupancy and capacity. So any questions, please communicate with me, 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796. You can also find us on the web, buysellthevillages.com, BUY, sellthevillages.com. Any questions, be happy to help. And next week, we'll do the same thing with more stats. We'll see you soon.